Let's get the latest from Buckingham Palace following the death of Prince Philip. We're joined by SABC News correspondent in London, Laura Makin-Isherwood. Laura, I think you've been saying that this was, in fact, a little bit of a surprise. He had been in hospital, but the reports kept on saying, or the royal family, Buckingham Palace, that he was in good spirits.
Yes, absolutely. All of the statements that were made even while Prince Philip was in hospital was that he was responding to treatment. As you say, he was in good spirits. And this is a man that was known for his stoicism, even in illness. He didn't have any visitors apart from his son, Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales. During his stay in hospital, he visited him for around 30 minutes, having driven up from his home in Gloucestershire. So this announcement today from Buckingham Palace that the Duke of Edinburgh had passed away peacefully, it was said, at Windsor Castle, was a bit of a surprise to all. People have been coming here to Buckingham Palace all day. We've seen people coming up and down the Mall, holding bunches of flowers. They've been laying those at the gates of the palace. And earlier, there was even a tribute from black cab drivers, you know, that infamous black cab that you see around London. Messages were put out on their radios and WhatsApp groups, and scores of them drove here to line the streets and pay their respects. We asked them why they'd done it, and they said even though Prince Philip was technically a prince, the royal consort, in their eyes he was a king, and he deserved this.
Yeah, and that iconic building behind you. So a lot of speculation now around funeral arrangements, what's going to happen, especially amidst COVID-19. Is there anything you can tell us?
Well, details are slowly starting to emerge. Plans will already have been in place in terms of what might happen if the Duke of Edinburgh would die. That's normal protocol. There are always planning procedures that take place to make sure that when the inevitable does happen, people know what they're supposed to do. Of course, as you say, COVID restrictions will mean that some of those will change. However, the Duke's own wishes, it's believed, is that he would have a more private funeral. It's not believed that he will lie in state. That's not going to happen. We don't think. It will be a private ceremony at Windsor Castle, at the chapel there, for family and very close friends, relatives, people that really knew him well. And that, I suppose, will be a real symbol of what the Duke of Edinburgh stood for. He was here for service to the country. He wasn't necessarily here to be a showy royal. He was quite private in a way. Books of condolence are also being opened online because of COVID restrictions. So members of the public are being encouraged to write in those online books rather than having them open in, say, for instance, Westminster Abbey or here at Buckingham Palace. But as I say, flowers are building. The amount of flowers at the gates are growing. People have come to pay their respects, to leave messages of condolence to the Queen, because it really is a big pivotal moment in British history.
And finally, will the tabloids be focusing on whether Prince Harry is there after he and his wife recently spoke out about the royal family?
Yeah, of course, their lives and that interview with Oprah Winfrey has dominated the headlines here for the last few months. The Queen has remained kind of quiet on it, really, I suppose. There's been a few statements made, but they've been very conciliatory in tone, trying to make sure that things are kept quite level. A tribute was made or placed on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex website, the Archwell website. It was a sort of grey slate on it, paying respects to the Duke and saying he will be sorely missed and remembered for his service. It's understood that Prince Harry will return to England for the funeral. We don't know if Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, will join him. Obviously, COVID restrictions are in place and she is pregnant with the couple's second child. But we do think that Prince Harry will be here for his grandfather's funeral.
All right, thank you very much for that update. And we were talking there to Laura Makin-Isherwood.